15 alleged members and associates of the Triple C gang were federally indicted in connection with 18 killings, 27 attempted killings, carjackings, robberies, assaults, witness intimidation and the running of street-level drug distribution shops in East and Northeast Baltimore from 2015 to 2020. Federal and city officials on Thursday announced the indictments, which were returned on May 27 and unsealed Wednesday. Jonathan Lenzner, acting U.S. Attorney for Maryland, called the gang a violent, drug trafficking organization in Baltimore. The amount of criminal activity perpetrated by one gang is pretty staggering and alarming, Lenzner said. Triple C was as organized and savvy as they are violent and relentless. In addition to drug dealing, Lenzner said the alleged members and associates were involved in shootings and killings of rival gang murders and carjackings. This violent street gang committed more than 40 homicides and attempted murders in total. This is not about numbers. Each of those shootings represents a victim whose family will never see again, or a survivor of a non-fatal shooting who will never be the same, Lenzner said. The indictment alleges that Triple C, which stands for Cruddy Conniving Crutballs, is a violent street gang that operated throughout Baltimore City and ran street-level drug distribution shops in the Darley Park and Orchard Ridge neighborhoods in East and Northeast Baltimore, where they distributed heroin, fentanyl, crack cocaine and marijuana, among other drugs. The Triple C gang made money by selling drugs and committing robberies, and they used violence to support their business and intimidate witnesses, Lenzner said. Authorities seized 15 firearms that were used and/or possessed by members of the Triple C gang, prosecutors said. Members of the gang allegedly earned respect from fellow members and maintained or advanced their position in the gang by engaging in criminal activities in furtherance of the gang, and particularly violent acts directed by Triple C leadership, prosecutors said. The indictment alleges that Creek founded Triple C as an alternative gang to the Black Guerrilla family. The indictment alleges Creek was responsible for contract murders and ordered other gang members to satisfy the killing contracts against rivals to enhance their status in the gang. They allegedly imposed a tax on drug traffickers who wanted to operate in their territory. The indictment alleges that Triple C members used more than a dozen different firearms to commit acts of violence, often trading with each other or with associates to avoid detection through ballistic evidence. Prosecutors said federal agents seized 15 firearms from members in the course of their investigation. This gang held onto firearms, they shared firearms. It was almost a requirement of this gang to possess and use firearms, Lenzner said. The indictment alleges Triple C members routinely used social media to enhance the gang's status and to identify and locate victims by posting pictures and rap videos in which they flaunted firearms, the superiority of the gang, and threatened to kill those who stood in the way of the gang. Members also allegedly used the sites to communicate with each other and share information concerning possible retaliation for violent crimes committed by gang members, prosecutors said. According to the indictment, the defendants sold clothing and jewelry with the gang's logo and warned against snitching. Prosecutors said the gang promoted itself by giving away clothing, such as t-shirts and hats, and through rap music. A total of 10 defendants charged in previous indictments in this case have pleaded guilty, 8 have been sentenced to between 3 and 17 years in federal prison and 2 await sentencing. Federal officials said it's distressing that many of the gang members are so young, under 25. So far, 14 of the 15 who were indicted are in custody. Federal prosecutors said Creek was initially arrested in December 2019 on a federal indictment and was ordered to be detained pending trial. On May 1, 2020, the court ordered that Creek be released and imposed several conditions of release, including a third-party custodian and electronic monitoring. For more than a year, Creek has not been charged with violating any of his conditions of release, officials said. Creek was supposed to self-surrender Thursday afternoon, but new evidence indicates he violated his conditions of release, prosecutors said. The government filed a motion to revoke Creek's conditions of release, and has requested a warrant for his arrest based on an assessment that he is a flight risk.